Hello, welcome to this tutorial on understanding how to create a REST service in PHP. Um, if you're actually watching this video might be for those trying to start in PHP REST service from the scratch. But however, I invite you also to look at some of our courses on using MuleSoft, SAP CPI, or Dell Boomi, or other integration tools that would add to our course list from time in the future, in the nearest future. So basically, we are just going to what are we trying to do today? Is we are trying to create a REST service in PHP, very basic service, and we'll try to make it as real as possible. We'll try to use a real server hosted in the cloud on Amazon Lightsail. We'll also try to use a real database hosted in a cloud on Amazon RODS. So basically, you can, if you're a newbie, you can actually get this for free. Your Lightsail server is actually free for the first month. So let's get right ahead into Sublime. This is my preferred editing tool. You can actually use Visual Studio or whatever you want. So I'm just going, first I need to do is to create a connection to my database. So this is actually how I'm using MySQL. So a connection is pretty simple as this. MySQL underscore connect. So this is the name of my database. This is my username to my database. This is my password and the name of my database. So basically, you can see this is a fake DB, which means this parameter is actually wrong for security reasons. But you can I actually have my real connection file here, my real parameters here, which I'll be uploading into the server. So basically, let's get started. We'll just create a new file yeah, and we are working in PHP. So basically, what I'm trying to do is this. So to make things pretty simple, the first thing I want to do is I want to include the connection to my database file. So basically, I just do this. This is a connection to this. Basically, I'm just trying to get this variable that contains my connection parameters. So that's what I'm doing here. The next thing is I want to actually type my query. So to type my query, I'm going to use the mysqli underscore query function, and I'm trying to select from a table called transactions. So I'll show you the table. So basically, I'm trying to do a query. Select from select this column from state to state amount from transactions limit 1. So basically, this is what the table looks like. So we have a table, a database called we post, and we have a table called transactions. So basically, you can see something similar to the query on the screen. Here we have select from state to state amount from transaction limit 1. So basically, this is a database we are using for a particular series in integration, which is available on MuleSoft SAP CPI or Dell Boomi. So basically, we just want this particular column back into in a REST service. And so the next thing we want to do is we want to actually do an if statement. So I want to actually see if the number of rows that were returned for my query. So to check the number of rows that were returned, we do my SQL SQLi. So there's an MySQL and there's a MySQL. And MySQL is updated, is more secured, is what is used in today's business. So we do it MySQL underscore rows. And then what do we want to check? We want to actually check in this results the results variable, because results variable contains it has run this operation and the values are stored in these results. So I want to check if it's greater than 0. I want to return a result. If it's less than 0, I want to if it's less than 0, so I'm using an if block. So if it's less than 0, I just want to return no data. So I'll just copy and paste this. Let's say if it's less than 0, no data. Okay, so let's move on. The next thing is, if you remember, we have put this result into, we have actually verified that actually there's content. The next thing we want to do is we want to be able to fetch the values from this result set. To fetch the values from the result set, we use a query called mysql underscore fetch underscore array, and I'm going to store it in a variable called roles. I'm actually copying and pasting because it makes it easier and to avoid errors while typing. Yeah. So so basically what I'm trying to do is I'm putting all the results from the results into a variable called rows. So basically now I have rows. There's an array of three variables: from, to, from state, to state, and amount. So basically it's the pricing for different postal services. Um, the 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 business scenario here is what is the price from when you're sending packages from one state to another state, like from Texas to Delaware, or from New York to another state in the US. This is pretty applicable because we have a full series where we covered the integration life cycle of postal services across the globe. So basically what we want to just do again, we just want to put in these variables into a new array called set. So basically I'm just saying set is an array. It contains three variables: a row, from state, row to state, and roll amount. And the next thing I want to do is do something similar to what we did for in case there's no value, and we just do this. So basically I want to do a JSON decode, a JSON encode. We want to put in this array into a JSON encode, so this encodes it so that it's readable as a JSON format on the other end. Whether you're sending it to Postman, you're sending it to Mool, SAP CPI, or any other tool, Postman, whatever you're integrating it, you can be consumed by a browser as well, or a developer. So basically this is pretty simple, and so that's the end of um uh this is the end of the script. So I'm just going to save it. I'm going to call this fetch line.php. So and I'm going to upload it to my data to my real server. To my real server, I use a tool called FileZilla. For it's free. It's like an FTP server. Helps you to move file between your servers. So I'm moving from my local host here to my server. This is my real server. As you can see, this is actually on the cloud. You can see here 54.206.50.247. So basically I just want to move my files rather than using command line. I think it's pretty easier, and also for beginners to get an easy grasp of it. Just move and drag and drop. So it does the behind the work scenes. If you want to see how to configure this, I think you should just look for one of my other tutorials on how to actually set up FileZilla, how to set up if a real server, because I'm using a server that actually has an FTP server. So just look for my tutorial look for the tutorial that talks about how to have access to a real server, an Amazon server, light sale, and you'll be able to get this follow up from here. So basically I'm just going to create. So what do we want to do? We want to actually call this server, but the name of our file is called fetchline. That's PHP, and we want to actually see what it will give us. So this is like an execute button, it's a send button, but it's like, okay, I'm making a call to this API, so I'm going to do this send, and let's expect the results. So basically we have an array of Texas, California, and the amount 10. So basically this is how to actually um, explore and work with REST APIs. This is a beginning. It's just a series to help us understand what are API, how to create REST APIs, and I would invite you to actually take a look at some of our other courses in integration. So this is the end of the tutorial. Thank you for watching.